is going on, traders? Thank you all so much for tuning back in. It really means a lot to me. And I just want to start off by saying if it looks like I'm filming in a closet, it's because I am. And our house has been under construction, so this is pretty much the only place I can find that's quiet. And yeah, I hope it's not too distracting for you guys. And let's just jump right into another nice and little sweet recap. So this is NASDAQ. This is how it traded on the day. As you guys can see, I had a nice hefty red day today. I was down $150 on TQs and I was up $7 on SQs, and here are all of my filled orders on the day. And I just want to go ahead and walk through you guys my thought process, why I kind of was focused on TQs today but ultimately paid the price for it, and the mistakes I made that I definitely should be on the lookout for, I should have paid attention to, that could have allowed me to not end so red or be pretty green on the day. So this is right around when the market opened up at 6:30, and as you guys can see just by looking at it, ever since the market opened up it was consistently selling off, and it did have also a nice bearish day today. And I do want to go ahead and point out to you guys that in the 5-day 5-minute, so this is when the market was opening up at 6:30, right? So this whole area after that, this whole sell-off right around here, this whole region, it's very easy to look at how the NASDAQ did in hindsight at the end of the day and be like, oh yeah, it was very clear it was going to fall on the day, right? Because it just was consistently selling off. But I want you guys to kind of get into perspective of how it looks when we're just logging onto the computer in the morning at market open up. And this whole section you see here was not there, right? So basically what we had to pay attention to was kind of this section right around 6:30 in the morning and the past, right? Here's the past 5 days. I'm using the 5-day 5-minute chart. And today why I wanted to start looking again to TQs was because since yesterday the NASDAQ was identifying kind of the highs and lows it was trading between this channel, which was how I was able to make money yesterday, getting into TQs at the bottom here, looking to sell at the top, and then getting right back into the inverse SQs and looking to sell it for a profit here at the bottom. And today, leading into the pre-market, I saw that we were still trading above this SMA line, this green SMA line right here, and I saw that the NASDAQ was trying to validate a support level kind of right around this general range, right? Anytime the NASDAQ would approach this support area, it would tend to bounce and try and go. And leading into the pre-market, I saw that the high it had here was higher than the previous resistance that it had right around this area just yesterday. So I definitely was on more of an edge to look out for TQs based off of this pattern. Right when the market opened up, let me go ahead and zoom in a bit for you guys. So right when the market opened up, right around here, this area was basically that same type of support area I was showing you guys, right on the 5-day 5-minute. And I wanted to take a small trade on TQs, so I got in initially when the market opened up. Ultimately, when it broke this support, I ended up cutting it for a small loss, just about $9. And I was waiting for the NASDAQ to try and hit this bottomish area, right, the bottom view up, where it could still bounce, right? It was still within that same general area right around here, where I saw a potential play for it to bounce like yesterday and confirm the support and make a play all the way back up to the top view up here. And clearly that didn't happen today, right? Which is what made me be so red on the day today. But right around here in the 5-day 5-minute, I also took another play when I did see it hit the bottom view up like it has done before. I got in a pretty beautiful fill, and as it started to push up, I averaged up immediately with my full size, and the trade was going my way. It was going pretty well. I was up like $50 to $60 up until this point, and I did want to do my part in holding in case the pattern was basically validating the support here, and it was going to try and make a play all the way to top view up. And I'm more than fine with holding my position. I didn't want to cut it early because I was up $50 on the position, but I always tend to sell to not let my runners run. Basically, I am capping my winners, and I did want to let this run because if it did end up approaching the top view up right around here, or even this general area, if it broke above the SMA, I would have looked to sell, maybe not have been so greedy to look for the top VWAP, and that still would have been a nice size trade, right? Just in that one trade, that could have been around $150 to $200 trade, which in my opinion is very worth it. But ultimately I didn't get that, and today I was a bit more red than usual because I have been trying to fully average up sooner rather than later, and I still think that is in my best interest, because if I waited all the way up here to average up and then I sent it as it started going, it wouldn't be smart for me to sell it anymore, my whole position, until it broke this support right around here, right? And it was basically showing it no longer wanted to validate this pattern. So that's why I've been trying to send it sooner, so that if I send it sooner, and I could sell at a smart area and not take as big of a hit if I waited even longer to average up, right? And today it was going somewhat well for me at the start. Like I said, I was up $50 to $60. Unfortunately, ended up coming back down and flushing me out. And basically, where I went wrong today was not paying attention to the fact that NQ was not just gonna try and form a support here anymore if it was breaking below the middle VWAP, the bottom VWAP, and on top of that, it broke the lows even since yesterday. It had right around here at 12,401 was, if I remember correctly, the exact price it was at yesterday for the lows. And I basically where I went wrong was I tried to keep looking for TQ's play as it kept selling off, because I was telling myself it still hasn't passed the low of yesterday, but I do need to pay attention to the fact that it was trending below every single basically line it could have tried to find a support off of: the SMA line, middle VWAP, EMA, and on top of that, while it wasn't hitting the lows yet right around here that it did yesterday, it was now trending below the bottom VWAP, right? This little yellow orangish line here. It was now trending below it. And right when I saw it break new lows on the day, that should have been a key sign to myself that I should have been looking again the other way now, because it is no longer validating the support around this area. It broke through it. It's trending now below every single line on the VWAPs and the EMA line, SMA line. And on top of that, it broke the new low it had yesterday, so there was great indication it could fall even more aggressively. And where I went wrong today was I kept trying to get into TQs, thinking there was going to be a nice big reversal, even though it never came, and I kept averaging up too. I noticed today I definitely was more impulsive when I was sending my trades. I averaged up multiple times, and within minutes of each other after I'd get stopped out, I'd look to get back in once it sold off little, average up once it was trying to go a tiny bit, and then I would just keep getting wrecked. So I did lose $150 today, and that was off of taking, I'd say, like 6 to 7 losers being fully averaged in, which is why I still find a lot of value in my plan in terms of this one trade I took in the morning. If it went according to plan, on that one trade I would have made $150 to $200, and it took around 6 losing trades with me averaging up in order for me to be down $150. And while it's not good, today what I can learn for myself is I need to let the direction play out, be a little more clear, and not be so impulsive to get back in and just basically average up into something, because no one is ever going to be 100% certain anything's going to happen, right? You should never be so one-sided in trading, and that's definitely what I was today, which is why I was down such a big amount on TQs, and I was only up barely anything on SQs, right? Because of the fact that I just kept looking again to TQs, and yeah, basically when I saw it break this critical area, it was a strong indicator on every type of chart, as you guys can see, that it was gonna fall even more aggressively. And the Nasdaq right now is honestly not looking like it's in the best spot. It's now trending below the SMA line, and on top of that, it keeps validating these lower highs and these lower lows now. In terms of, and what do I mean by that? Lower highs, every time it try to push up, it would come back down, ultimately get rejected, and when it try to find a new high and go, that high would basically be a lot lower than it previously was. And this is what you need to be on the lookout for to show you that something is looking like it's going to start downtrending. And obviously the lower lows are pretty self-explanatory. Anytime it fell, the lows would be even lower than it previously would hold at. So I didn't do my part today in paying better attention to these charts because the information was there and it did make sense in terms of why if it broke this it would start to sell off aggressively. I was so one-sided trying to get into TQs today only, and I definitely paid the price for it. But like I said, I am excited for how I'm just learning to still be a lot more comfortable with putting more money on the line and handling my risk and stuff like that, because I just came across the thought that I'm never gonna get anywhere, especially in trading, if I'm not gonna be a risk taker. I'm not saying to be so reckless and not manage your risk or anything like that, but someone, let's say for example, that buys in and right when they're up $5 looks to sell always because they never want to take the risk of it falling back down and being red, they're never gonna get anywhere, right? You want to kind of have the exact opposite, if anything, of that type of mindset. You need to be willing to put some nice capital on the risk. And yeah, I did give up $150 today, and it did suck, every bit of it, right? There's no question about that. But the fact that knowing it took me so many trades to be down that much, where all I needed was that one trade to go my way to profit huge, that's definitely something that is motivating me to keep my head up. And basically just I need to come back tomorrow and play things smarter, and on top of that just not be so kind of forward in terms of trying to pull the trigger and keep going with a direction. I need to let it play out. If I find myself taking 1 to 2 red trades in a row, that should be indication I should probably cool off for a little and wait for direction to really try and clear itself out. So yeah, that's all I'm going to leave you guys with today. Thank you all so much for tuning back into the recap. I hope anything I said you were able to learn something from it, and you just found this overall and you were able to enjoy the video. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.